Okay, so I want to give you a little introduction to help navigate the Blackboard. Most students who have had this before, and it was, and they had, let's say, the hybrid course, either with me or someone else, it's pretty much going to be the same. If this is the first time you're taking a course, like you took A&P-1 in another college, and now you're coming over here. Yeah, so I want to have it so that everybody's on the same page on where to find things. With a very fast course that we're in right now, you don't want to waste time about where you can find things. So I want to just spend the next half an hour or so just explaining what you're going to be finding on here. Okay, so pretty much this is going to be the same things you're going to see. The only thing that's going to be different is this orange bar. This orange bar is for me, just telling me that I'm in the student preview mode. This is what the students would be seeing from my perspective. Okay, so that's pretty much what that is. But everything else is going to look, hopefully, what you're seeing over here. So the welcome screen where it says this area here, I guess we call this the dashboard, but this is where all the things you can click on. And I'm going to talk about all this. The welcome screen, start here, is what you're reading over here. It just gives you a little bit of synopsis, overview of the course, what it's going to entail, certain things to do over here. And everything I'm going to explain to you in this next half an hour or so is kind of written right here on where to find things. So that's what this is. All right. You go to the next thing over here, which says contact information. Where, there we go. All right. So it's a little bit about myself over here. All right. It's just how to contact me. However, we had to put some kind of email address here. And as I mentioned to you before, the CCM email that I have, it gets, if you send something over there, it's gonna get lost. I'm not saying I'm not gonna answer it, but there's going to be a delay. Most likely it's going to be delayed because I get like 20 emails from different things going over there. And it's just, by the time I look at it, but if you want to get something fast, the best way, the only way to contact me is through something called Inbox Blackboard Mail. Where's that located? Right over here. Okay, you'll be looking at this area quite often. This is the thing I was telling you about. Look at least twice a day. I will look at this at least 2 to 3 times a day. Okay. The other thing, a few other things over here. If you need to get in contact with this tutoring center, the science center, you can do that here. Anything about the computer and what to do and how to set things up, you could always call the Solution Center. Okay. And then we also have this virtual campus information that you can go to too. Okay. So let me go back over here to Inbox BBB Mail or BB Blackboard Mail. Okay, here is where you're going to see all my emails. Okay, I think you can understand what this is all about, right? To create a message, you'll do over here. If there's a number over here, it means that, I'm sorry, there's a number over here. Somebody has sent you something. Most likely it's me that I just sent something to you. But there's also a way that you could also email all your students through here also, to your classmates. You want to say, hey, look, there's a test is coming up next Wednesday. We're all going to do a Zoom session on Sunday, or we're all going to meet at the library on Sunday at 12 o'clock. Everybody is welcome to join in, or something like that. This is the way that you can reach out to everyone too. But this is the best way to contact me. Really, the only way to contact me, because this is where I'm going to be looking at, and you will get an answer quite rapidly. Okay. So let me go move forward. Any course notifications? Really, what you see over here is probably stuff about tutoring. I tutor also at the college on Fridays remotely from I think 1:30 to 3 o'clock. You have to look at the schedule, but that's what I think I'm scheduled to do. But I send notifications here about what what each week is going to entail. We have special review sessions, not from me, but from the tutoring center. Some full-time faculties do that, and you'll see that usually on Mondays. I'll be popping that up there. Oh no, I'm sorry, not course notifications. I don't really use course notifications. It's under announcements. I'm sorry. Under announcements is where I'll be sending some frequent Monday emails about what's going on in the week of tutoring. Okay. I don't really use the Ask Your Professor, so don't you want to ask me a question? Just go right here to inbox. But also, before you ask me, look at the frequently asked questions. Your question might be answered over here. I actually wrote this whole thing out. So yeah, just, how long is the course? There's how the course and how the course begins here. So, look over here at the FAQs. There might be, your question might be answered over here. All right, so let's talk about the course content. This is where you're going to spend a lot of time on. The syllabus and other documents. Here you're going to see the course calendar and checklist that I talked about, that 5-page thing. Definitely download it. Make sure that you have that someplace to always refer to. The syllabus is over here. I emailed it to everyone prior to the first day, but if you lost it or you spilled coffee on it or whatever, you can reprint it out over here. If you want to listen to my video discussion of this lecture ever again, you got it right over here. All right. The entering survey, that's the thing I was telling you about, the questionnaire. Just get it done ASAP. Don't worry about September 21st. That's when I created it, but this is the one that I want you to use. You'll download it, complete it, save it as, and because what'll happen is if you save it, for some reason, when you save it and you don't put save it as, it saves it as a blank document. So everything you typed in disappears. But if you save it as and just change it to the file name to your name, then it saves everything. So that's fine. And then just email it back to me, and you just attach it to the to an area in the inbox Blackboard mail. Okay. All the lecture objectives are over here. You can take a look at those. I have a rubric that's created for the discussion boards. If you ever need to print that out, you can do that over here. I also have, this is how to do the Proctor exam and how to use ProctorU. So again, you could download this. Again, we're only using this obviously for lecture, not lab. Lab is in person. I also added in here the course learning objectives for A&P-1. This isn't A&P-2, A&P-1. Should you want to go back and be sure that, it's like, was I supposed to know this or not from A&P-1? I haven't done A&P-1s for a year and a half. So this might be a good referral to say, well, it is expected that we're supposed to know this. Here's the objectives from A&P-1, so I might have to review that. So that's what I have on there. Okay, and this Council of Science Editor and Guidelines, you take a look at this if you want. I just added that in there as an FYI. Okay, so that's everything that you're going to find for the syllabus and other documents. Okay, you also have CCM policies over here. You can look at those as needed. But all the lectures, and this is where I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking, a lot of time talking, is the lecture learning modules. So let's go over here. Okay, so the lecture learning modules, you will see each individual thing is over here. All right, so you have, this is a little bit of description about what you're going to find over here. And then here's chapter 16, 17, 18, 19, and so forth. If you've had this with me or any other teacher at CCM online, it's basically the same format. So let me explain to you what's found in each one of these. Let's go to endocrinology, your first chapter. So let's take a look at this. Okay. So the contents is over here. You could always go to this block over here. It'll widen it so you could read everything. So this is an overview, which this part here is matching this part over here. So this is the overview. You could read this on your own. It's basically what's the focus, endocrine system. And these are the objectives that you should get out of the course over here, or out of the chapter rather. You should be able to do these things here. And also, it's strongly suggested to do these things on here. The assessment that is required of you to do here is to complete lecture quiz number 1, which will cover endocrinology. And I'll show you where those lecture quizzes are. When do they open and when do they close? Again, you'll want to refer to the course calendar. But also, I will be emailing everyone when things are coming up. So it's just an overview. A little introduction about the endocrine system right here, a paragraph or so. When you go over to the reading and PowerPoint, here's the PowerPoint over here. Okay. Also, there's a couple of short videos. These are not my lecture videos. These are a couple of things I found on YouTube. And these particular ones are fairly short. We're talking about like 1 to 3 minutes each. They're going to help you to understand some of the thorny areas that are found in endocrinology. So do that, okay? But here, on the next part here, the PowerPoint narrated recordings. That's the video recording of myself over here, okay? So once you look at the PowerPoint, well, let me show you what the lecture looks like. You're going to click on that.
We're anesthesiologists, surgeons, emergency medicine physicians, pain management specialists. We're the largest provider of doctors into first-tier U.S. residencies.
That's
St. George's University School of Medicine.
Why? But yeah, that's where I went to medical school. All right, so we're going to skip the.
So let's do endocrinology.
Okay, so I'm going to just take the sound off just for a second. Okay, so what do we have here? All right, so what we have is that this is, what I like about this is that here is the PowerPoint that you have. I will do, when you go a little bit further, let's see, blah, blah, blah. Let's see if I go, yeah. You'll see me do, and I'll enlarge this a little bit. You'll see me do what I call art therapy up here on the board. So I do a lot of drawings, okay? And you could also see me lecturing. And I'm doing this in front of a live audience, a live class. So when students are asking questions, they're good questions, and I'll stop and pause and answer the question for them. So you're going to feel as though with the PowerPoint up here, with my art therapy on the whiteboard over here, and with me being there present, using my hands. You can see I'm Italian. I'm using my hands. You feel as though you're in the classroom with me, even when students are raising their hand and asking questions. I wanted to create this thing. I did these all. I did all these recordings like about 5 years before the pandemic, so I was kind of ahead of my times. I just didn't like to have 3 Mondays in a row that were canceled because of snow days. So this is where I created this. If there was a snow day, no problem, just watch the video. And I give this to all my students, even if they came to class. If I was going too fast with something or I didn't get to something, they could just finish it up by looking at this at home. So I like this. Now, let me also explain to you what the best thing is over here. First off, here's the sound.
Is it the adrenal cortex that this hormone comes from, or the adrenal medulla? And then, of course, we got ovaries and testes. There's a few other organs on here, which we'll get into later on throughout the whole course.
Okay, so I just wanted you to hear that, because a lot of students say that they can't hear me because it sounds muffled. However, if you have ear pods or earbuds or something, of earphones, something like that, and you put that on, apparently my voice becomes very much amplified and not muffled at all. So I encourage you to get some sort of $5 earbuds that you could get at Walmart. In the, when you'll see them probably when you're at the cashier, like that area there around pegs. And that'll work pretty well. The other thing I want to tell you is how to go about doing this, because sometimes you can't, like here, you can't read this stuff up here, can you? But you could tell what slides you're on in the PowerPoint. So my suggestion is to split this, have 2 digital devices. One, like for instance, use your laptop to watch this video full screen, and then have like your tablet or your smartphone showing a very clear PowerPoint that you downloaded from where I showed you. So you have the video on one digital device, you have a clear PowerPoint on the second device, and then you have a notebook over here. And do it as though you're in the classroom and take notes. What's nice about this, obviously, is that you can pause it if I'm going too fast. You could rewind it. You could actually make me sound like a chipmunk and go faster in my talking. So definitely do that, okay? Okay, so the other thing that I want to tell you is I kind of broke this down. If you look at this, this is all endocrine, and endocrine has 9. It's a pretty big one. It's 2 chapters. In some books, it's 2 chapters, but it's big. So there's 9 parts to this, and I kind of broke it down where I think that is a good stopping point. Here's 26 minutes. Here's 31 minutes, 45. You have to watch all of these with the PowerPoint. There's a lot there, okay? It's not just the one over here. It's all of them. But I also, to help you along with this, when you go over to, let's say we'll go to this one here. Okay, so this is, of course, another ad over here. But what you have, this is endocrine, and I call it like B06, where it's over here, the B06. Sometimes it's A06, but I have them in order. Like here's B01, B02, B03, B04, all the way up to B09. If you're looking at this one, which is B06, I also have in the description what you're actually going to learn in that one video, okay? So you could break it down like that, all right? You can see I'm wearing a different outfit here because this is such a big subject, endocrinology. It took me like 3 days to go over it, okay? So it's pretty big. All right, so that's about the video and how to go about using it, okay? All right, so let me go back. So we did all of that. Now let's talk about this next section over here, the review question set number 1. The review question set, I highly, highly, highly encourage you to do these, okay? My suggestion is once you let's say the endocrinology, you watch the video, you use my PowerPoint, you take all your notes, you study your notes, and then you feel as though, okay, I'm ready to take the quiz. Well, before you take the quiz, you should do these review questions, okay? Because this is a good representation of what the questions will be like on my lecture quizzes and lecture exams. If there is, for this one, 29 questions, then with the 29 questions, give yourself 30 minutes to do it, okay? The best way to do this, and you'll hear me say it quite often, is when you do this, for instance, number 1, you read the question and you feel as though, and this isn't the right answer, but you feel as though C is the right answer. You better know why A, B, D, and E are incorrect as much as you know that C is correct. Why is A incorrect? Why is E incorrect? Because of this. Because I may have a question on the exam or quiz that is pertaining to choice A and put it into a question form. So you should know that, okay? I picked not random questions. I actually created most of these questions here from the review question set, but it hits every topic that is significant to know in my PowerPoint and in the video. If you do this, and let's say you get to question number, I don't know, you get question number 4, and you can't answer it, and you go back to your notes, and there's nothing about diabetes mellitus versus diabetes insipidus, then you are not taking notes down properly. This is going to help you to say, you know what, Dr. Gamaro is going to ask a question about this as you're going through your PowerPoint. So make sure you when you go back to your notes, if this isn't in here, then go back to the PowerPoint and go back to my video and put that into your notes, because that's something that's important. Or write it all over here if you want. Use these as your study guides, because I don't give you study guides. I have my own feelings about those. It's got pros and cons, more cons than pros. But yeah, you could write all over here. And then when you need to take the exam, reprint these. You got all your answers because you looked up all the answers, and you know why the other ones are wrong and then why that one's right. So do them again. Now, let me also talk to you briefly about where the answers are. There is no answer key to these questions. The answers are found in my video lectures or my PowerPoints, or being able to apply what I've been explaining to you in my videos and PowerPoints. Okay. Most cases, when you go back to my video or PowerPoints, you will be able to find the answers to these. I'm not going to give you the answers to it. But if you have like a question, like, Dr. Gamaro, if there's like one or two questions that you just are having problems with, if you could prove to me that you have gone through this review question set, or let's say this question here for number 22, and you say, you know what, Dr. Gamaro, I understand why A, B, C are incorrect, because this, or this is found on PowerPoint 21, or slide number 21. However, I'm confused about ACTH and cortisol. In your video lecture, you explain that cortisol does this, but I also noticed that the PowerPoint explains that ACT is also going to do the same thing. Can you give me more information? I will email you, and I still won't give you the answer, but I will surely direct you to where you can find the answer. I might say to you, yes, but if you look at slide number 22, I make note that there is confusion about this, but take a look at it and let me know. Usually, I would say 9 out of 10 times, 9.5 out of 10 times, I get an email back saying, thank you, it worked perfectly. I have no confusion anymore. So if you prove to me that that you've gone through the question, yeah, I'm here to help you. I'm not a stickler on that, but I'm not going to give you the answers. I need you to be able to find the answers, because you're going to go into nursing, radiology, wherever you're going to go. They're not going to help you over there. So how are you going to learn how to fish if I keep on giving you the fish, right? So eventually you're going to need to do this on your own. So I'll guide you to that. Okay, so that's the review questions. Make sure you do these. I don't collect these, but here's the other nice tip about this. 20 to 25% of my exams have these questions verbatim in there. So that'll reward the students who do these, that they've seen some of the questions before. So definitely do these, okay? All right, so going back to here, you'll also see some strongly suggested activities sometimes, where to go about doing that. If she's going to use the Mastering A&P, you can do these things over here. But I also have a hormone chart for endocrinology, for that matter, that you could download and fill in over here as you go through the PowerPoint. So it's a few other things to do. The other thing over here is this discussion board. Students don't usually do this. These are the optional ones. This isn't the discussion boards that are required. I'm going to talk about that later. But if you could reach out to other students by posting things on here. I'm a little confused about this. What do you think of that? And I'll check every once in a while. But for some reason, students just don't use this often. I think I've seen like one semester, 2 students did it. But I think it's better if students just email me. But I put it there if students want to use it. Okay. So anyway, that's what you're going to find over there in learning, the lecture learning modules. Okay. So again, I clicked on this. That's where you saw them all. And for every system, it's pretty much the same format. Okay. So that's a little bit about the lecture learning modules. So let's talk about the assessments, basically the tests, the things that you have to turn in. I have something called a practice quiz over here. And the practice quiz is something that doesn't count, won't hurt or hinder your, won't hurt or help your grade at all. It's 25 questions that you have that are about A&P1 that you need to know for A&P2. So I picked those kinds of questions. But the practice quiz is really teaching you how to navigate one of my quizzes or exams, how it goes through all that. Now, on the practice quiz, you will get the answers to, but you don't usually get the answers to any of the lecture quizzes or lecture exams. I'll talk about that in a moment. So you could do that whenever. My suggestion is to do it the day one so that you get a familiarity with that. Also, I have this syllabus quiz that is worth 1% of your grade. Once you finish going over this video lecture on the syllabus and you've gone through the syllabus, then I have 10 questions, multiple choice, for you to answer. So I need you to do that, and it's due on day 2 at 8 o'clock at night. So make sure you do that. It's a pretty easy thing if it's about the syllabus, okay? But I want everybody to be on the same page. The lecture quizzes. There's really nothing in here because nothing's open. We'll talk about the lecture quizzes when we get there. Same thing with lecture exams, but this is where you'll find them. The lecture discussion boards. These are the ones that are required to do. The only one that I really have open at this time is discussion board number 1. Oh no, I have the discussion board number 2 open too. But discussion board number 1 is really to introduce yourself. You got to make sure that you put in these 10 items over here and create an avatar. Okay, we'll talk about the primary post and secondary post, which is the secondary post is that you're going to comment on someone else's primary post. So that's what I want you to do. I'll talk about that later. And then I also have discussion board number 2 that pertains to exam 1. Again, I'll talk about the primary and secondary posts when we get there. So that's what you're going to see with assessments, the things that you're going to be doing. Supplemental resources, right now there's nothing there. It's anything that I might find on the internet that's interesting that would help you with your studies. I'll do that. Moving down, you'll find all your grades over here. Just click on that. And I'm pretty fast with grading things. Discussion boards might take a week to do, but with a small class, it's probably going to be much less time than that. We also have the CCM email. Don't use this. This is connected to that email that, like I said, it will get lost with other things. It's just required that we have to have that on there. But again, this is the place to go. This is the only place to really go that I will be emailing you and you email me at the inbox BB mail. Did I mention that before? Okay. And then some other student services you could do over here too, tutoring center information and whatnot. Okay. This tutoring center schedules on there when they're open and who's there, so you can do that. So that's pretty much about Blackboard. You're going to be spending a lot of time on here. Again, this is only for lecture material. Lab is a separate Blackboard course shell that you'll see on there. This is for lecture, but Dr. Kardashian, she will have one for hers, and she'll explain everything on there. Okay? All right.